Hey, today I'm working on a few tips to, dope out wiring and so on. I'm going to start with a couple of tools that are handy to have. This multi-tester, it's easy to check voltage if you put this on the voltage side of it, but if you're working on a wiring harness that's not powered and you're not sure if there's shorts in it, of course you want to play it safe, you can do continuity. And so what I do with this one here, have it pointing straight down, it'll be 1 when there is no continuity. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this thing in here. You touch these together, now you can see that the continuity drops way down, so now you know they're touching together. These wires leads are too short so for a lot of things. So what you can do is you can make jumper wires. I just put an end on there here that I could plug the pin into, and then you have an alligator clip. And you can make these wires different sizes, of course, so anywhere from a few inches to many feet if you want to. And so what you do is you plug things together. Okay, I plugged the pin into this end here, so that way I can have an extension line and also an alligator clip. That way, because if you're working from a long distance, you can't hold both ends, obviously. So now let's see what happens when you hook the alligator clip to it. Alright, so as you can see, the continuity goes way down. And so now you know that you have a connection. So that's how a continuity tester works. And with this wire, this jumper wire here, you can work from longer distances. And believe me, the 2 pin connectors, they're a pain. You got to use one hand for each pin connector, and then this thing always wants to be upside down. So that's handy too, to have an alligator clip so that way it frees up a hand. Another thing I like to do is, as I figure out wires, I like to label them. Like here's main power, here's one for the horn. I have some that I rolled up, like this is from the original ignition. I rolled it up and covered it and put a label on it. This simplifies it, because if you have like 50 wires here, it looks really intimidating. But by doing this, you can narrow it down. And so now the only wires I have uncovered are going to the windshield wipers, and well, this one goes here. But I know what that is. And so that's a way of arranging it. It's just an organizational thing. It's nothing major about it. But it's something that people often don't do. I've worked on cars that people have screwed up, and you can see they don't bother to organize at all. And this will help you a lot. Another thing that can happen is if you have a short inside the car. Okay, now we're underneath the dash, and you have a short somewhere here, you don't know where it is. What you do is you unhook the power first. You take out all the fuses, and then once all the fuses are out, what you do is you'll touch your battery terminal, see if there's a spark, see if there's a power draw. If there's not, you hook it up. Then you can go under here, and you can put in 1 fuse at a time. And by the time the end of it, you'll know which circuit it is. So you don't want to just plug them all the way in. Touch it. If you get a spark here, you know this is the circuit that's shorted out. But you can do that by process of elimination, and then that way, once you're all done, you know what circuit you're looking for, and you don't have to figure out the entire maze of wires, only the ones that you're trying to repair. This is a relay that came off the car. I'm going to test it and see if it still works and reuse it if it does, because if it works, it works. But you can buy typical 5-pin relays, like right from Summit for like $5 for the cheapest that I could find. And, prices go up from there. There's different amperage loads that they can handle, so you got to match it up to what you're doing. But these are handy for a few reasons. One of which, so you don't have to have a switch rated at the amperage of the load. But the other reason that I'm thinking is over here. This is the main power going into the fuse box. I'm thinking of hooking this to a relay so I can have a toggle switch in the dash. That way, if I'm going down the road and I suddenly notice, you know, something is shorting out, I can shut the power off to the entire car with a toggle switch. I think that's a good idea with an antique car because the time it takes to pull off the road, open the hood and unhook the battery, the car could be up in flames entirely. And so having a relay to control that, I think that's a big deal. And that's something I'll be doing. So, you know, these are just a few basic tips. It's all obvious stuff. So those of you that know what you're doing, you're probably like, why did this guy make this video? But as I said, I've worked on quite a few cars that it's obvious that people didn't know. So it's worth talking about.